Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, best gun in the game. I like. As long as they don't know where you are, ever, you should be fine. Ah! Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Commando Carbine for the Medic class and going over the new Grind mode that is available in this week's Tides of War. Now, for a long time, fans of Battlefield 5 have been clamoring for a different type of weapon for the Medic class. Every other class in the game gets multiple categories of weapons except for the Medic, who has only had SMGs so far, making it less versatile or interesting of a class to play. Well, the Commando Carbine is here, giving it a bolt-action suppressed rifle that shoots a very small caliber round, 45 ACP, so it has extreme damage drop-off and slow muzzle velocity. This weapon could not be any weirder. It is a cool weapon, I'll give it that. It would be a very interesting weapon in Firestorm in terms of its stealth capabilities. In normal Battlefield, I feel like the suppressor isn't quite as useful just because the mode is so chaotic in general. People are prone camping all over the map. The suppressor might buy you a second here or there, but ultimately I think it's mostly just for the cool aesthetics. Now, as you can see from the gameplay, this carbine is capable of one-shot headshot kills, but the range on that is very limited. You start pushing out past, I would say around, feels like maybe 40, 50 feet, and all of a sudden you're doing high 80s in terms of your damage. Push it further and you're going to be doing around 66 for a headshot damage at extreme ranges. So you can actually be in a 3-shot kill range with this rifle and its bolt action. So this is really not meant for extreme long range gameplay. It also has a slow muzzle velocity, which you can upgrade with the progression tree later, but for the most part, it's not great at hitting moving targets at further ranges. This is really a close medium range weapon, preferably for headshots, which is such a very narrow window and such a very specific skill set required to make this gun effective. Now, unfortunately for testing out this weapon, I was relegated to playing on the new Grind game mode. No other servers were open. Grind has just come out. All the Tides of War assignments revolve around this mode, or most of them do. Everyone's playing it. It was hard for me to test out the Commando Carbine on other game modes. In Grind, it was quite difficult to use just because of the choke pointy nature of that game. There was no way to take advantage of the stealth suppressed abilities of this weapon and go on some cool flanking missions without people knowing I was there. Rarely did that occur, and so this is a weapon that I feel I will need to test more extensively in other game modes to really give it a better full review. That being said, I can tell you the Commando Carbine is probably going to be one of those love or hate weapons, and probably hate for the vast majority of the player base. It is an incredibly high skill requirement to make this gun even remotely effective. And even then, if you are nailing your shots, sometimes you just feel like there's nothing you could have done to actually get a kill. It's like that hard to use at times. But if you're somebody who loves the flick shot, the quick flick shot to a headshot, then you can make this gun look really cool. It's probably going to be one of those weapons that's great for getting YouTube clips and stuff like that, the only in Battlefield moments and whatnot. But in terms of a solid, reliable weapon, Commando Carbine is going to be tricky to use. Now, it does get better with the progression tree, and this is the route I've taken at full right side and then left at the end. The hip fire on this gun is surprisingly effective, and so giving it one final hip fire upgrade at the end there allows you to actually hip fire quite a bit, and I was getting a lot of hip fire headshots and whatnot, so that's one added benefit to try and ease you into this weapon. You don't have to ADS for all your kills, but it's not a huge consolation. Now, if this is a weapon you are thinking about going for, the good news is that the Tides of War progression tree this week is incredibly easy to complete. I went the bottom route and had it done no problem. The Grind game mode is, well, very good at grinding out assignments. Now, if you skip ahead to look at the coming weeks, we can see that the LS-26 light machine gun is coming, but also what's new is we get to see that the M28 Tromboncino Carbine is coming, and then the week after that, we are also getting the P08 pistol carbine, which will probably also be for the medic class. So I'm excited about that. So we got some cool new weapons to look forward to in the coming weeks. One weapon per week, actually. So that's quite nice. And also, in case you missed the announcement on Reddit or Twitter, Duos is now back permanently for Firestorm as a permanent game mode. It was actually the most popular game mode when they took a poll online, and so I'm glad to see it back there, and I'm excited to play some Firestorm Duos in the near future. Now, what about the new game mode, Conquest Grind? This, very much like the new weapon, seems to be a love or hate situation. Either you love 64 players mashed up in a very close quarter environment with few flanking routes and just teams being smushed together in insane chaos, or you like bigger, wide open, flanking, more tactical, strategic ways to play Battlefield. And of course, if I'm being honest, there was a time where I would willingly hop into those 64 player Metro servers, preferably with explosives disabled, because that was one of the perks of a rental server program, is admins could turn on and off certain rules, and Metro with explosives was an absolute nightmare back in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. It just did not play well at all, and explosives are enabled for Battlefield 5. So prepare to get piated, prepare to get dynamited, prepare to get hit by every grenade known to mankind. Fortunately, the devs did turn off the squad reinforcements for V1s and artillery strikes, because that would have just been absolutely game breaking. There's nowhere to flank on this map. Everything is so tight that if they did call in artillery strikes, you'd be getting like 10 to 20 kills per arty strike or V1. It would have been an absolute nightmare. So at least that is turned off, but the mode is very, very medium machine gun heavy, especially on, say, the Twisted Steel map, where they did kind of redesign the map in some cool, interesting ways with some under bridge flanking routes, and they repaired the bridge and whatnot, and there's tons of new cover and areas. But man, you just set up a medium machine gun or you go under a car or something like that, it gets very campy, it gets very spammy. It basically puts all the things that I personally don't like about Battlefield into one mode and just throws them in your face all the time, and there's no escape from it. Now, maybe if you talked to me 8 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, this is a fun mode for practicing and sort of getting into the flow or warming up for a better game mode. And maybe it is, but personally right now, I'm not as into that kind of spammy game mode. I don't really enjoy it as much anymore. I think my favorite Battlefield 5 experience right now is like a good game of Conquest on the Eros map. I think that's a great experience. Or maybe even Breakthrough on Eros map if I'm looking for a little bit more intensity. But ultimately I'm looking for some strategy, not over the top intensity, but enough focus of combat that I can still get some decent kills and have a good time. This is just too much for me personally, and that's how I feel about it, but it is one of those things that I have to recognize that there probably are some players out there that have just been waiting for this experience this whole time, and now that it's here, they are pumped and good to go. I think one of my issues right now with the focus on new game modes with Tides of War stuff is that it really does pull away from the core game modes, at least for a little while. It makes it hard to play them, especially if there's assignments tied into them, and quite frankly, I'm just not enjoying Grind, and I didn't really have any other options to play while I was recording this video. Hopefully those options will open up a little bit throughout the week, but ultimately, I think that is a negative side of doing all this game mode saturation stuff and tying it into the Tides of War stuff. It is irking some people, just like I know some people were irked when they had to play Firestorm to complete the Tides of War progression tree. A lot of people don't want to play Firestorm. It's not their game mode, but being forced to do so to go down a progression tree is a bit rough. And I think DICE might want to reconsider their Tides of War progression tree strategy, just because forcing people to play game modes that they don't like probably isn't ultimately the best solution to a progression tree. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Try out the Commando Carbine for yourself. Let me know if you like it, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.